Hello everyone and welcome to this issue of Anti-Life Reviews. I am of course your new god, the Tona Makaya, and we are back in week 3 of looking at the talented and self-inflicted in his own controversy comic book writer Warren Ellis. We're going to be looking at what I consider to be one of the best comedy comics of all time. This is the 12-issue series Next Wave Agents of Hate, which was published by Marvel Comics from March 2006 to March 2007. So let's get into some giant monsters underpants and see what's hanging. The writer on this is Warren Ellis. Despite his personal attributes being unsavory at the best of times, his talent at writing can be quite high, with Stormwatch, Planetary, Hellblazer, Dr. Sleepless, Desolation Jones, and many others on his long resume. I consider Next Wave up there with the best of them, but I'm highly biased of anything with Machine Man in it. Artist on this is Stuart Immonen, supremely talented artist that is probably best well known for his long run on Ultimate Spider-Man. I think he has this marvelous way of using facial expressions and body language in his characters to maximum effort. This is kind of a lost art in comics at the moment, as the medium moves so rapidly in storytelling sometimes you don't get or are unable to let a character's expressions or movement land. But Stuart gets it. Not only that, but his action sequences are usually superb. So who are Next Wave? What is Hate? Next Wave is a team that used to work for Hate, composed of Monica Rambeau, formerly the second Captain Marvel and leader of the Avengers; Elsa Bloodstone, Ulysses Bloodstone's daughter and famed monster hunter; Aaron Stack, formerly Machine Man and X-51, do-it-all, know-it-all robot; Tabitha Smith, formerly Boom Boom of the X-Force, blonde that blows things up; and the Captain, he's strong, dunk, and stupid. Their credo, healing America by beating people up. Hate is the highest anti-terrorism effort, run by a man called Dirk Anger, a S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury joke. Hate was supposed to be the good guys until the Next Wave crew find out they worked for a terrorist group called the Beyond Corporation. So they stole an experimental TARDIS, bigger on the inside, ship called the Shockwave Rider, and they're going to destroy everything pertaining to the Beyond Corporation. Dirk Anger is very mad. He's mad at his recruits. He's mad at his life-extended drugs. He's mad at women, but mostly he's mad at Next Wave for at a Beyond site right there where the company is digging. And what do they run into? Fin Fang Foom, a giant kaiju who awakens, ready to mate, but has no genitals. As you can imagine, this makes him quite angry and ready to destroy, until he finds Tabitha looking good in his eyes, and he wants to put her in his pants. The Captain is there to break one of Fing's fingers and release her. Thanks to Monica's quick thinking and also sharpshooting, Aaron gets down Finn's throat and kills him from the inside out. And truly, Fin Fang Foom's heart is broken. After this win, Next Wave is off to stop the Beyond Corporation wherever they rear their ugly head, and that's with a cop. A corrupt scumbag sleazeball of a cop who shakes down working girls, beats civilians, and is generally the definition of what a lot of people think about American police. He's also injected by a Beyond Corporation cat with an Ultra Samurai seed that makes him turn into a Gundam or Super Sentai robot. But Next Wave is on it, and thankfully Tabitha is more than happy to blow up a cop and a cat, until the man is seemingly back to normal, to which Aaron and Tabitha beat him up again because he is a cop. Monica intervenes and gives him back to the community to take care of him, to which those citizens shoot him to death in an alley. We are told Next Wave would like to remind the audience that dragging insane, corrupt police officers who change into giant killer robots into an alleyway and shooting them a lot is a very bad and not the Marvel way. Also, still illegal in most states. The team then arrive at a Beyond Corp war garden, where they grow most of their workers, soldiers, etc., which are semi-broccoli robot beings. The team begins to destroy it, but Dirk Anger is on the case, releasing killer koalas, robot samurais, homicide crabs, and prepares to release others, but Aaron breaks into Dirk's private room on his ship and tells he'll burn the dress he found in there, Dirk's mother's dress. Dirk gets his dress back and buggers off, but Aaron keeps the bra, and as we know, no good can come from a robot in a bra. Though Dirk failed, Beyond is not out of options, as they send a member of their group to summon a demon from the Dark Dimension. No, not Dormammu, but Rokanu, a lesser demon who for $100 and some suicide girls, the models, which dates this comic, I suppose, he gives Beyond endless, mindless ones who are hulking rock-like brutes with no brain and laser eyes. Well, this interrupts the team's rare downtime, where they are actually getting to bond a little bit, but the literal call to action takes hold, and they enter the fray, with police facing off against the mindless ones. Monica once again steps into her role as leader seamlessly, and they push back a portion of the mindless ones. The rest of the city has been overrun. The mindless ones begin domesticating themselves into the new society, riding skateboards, driving taxis, going to bars, watching sports, doing renditions of West Side Story, and killing. Mostly killing. In his excitement to see Next Wave get killed by magical morons, Dirk accidentally kills himself during some David Carradine-related activities. Though his happiness would have been further short-lived when the captain is the hero of the day, beating Rakanu to about as close to death as you can get an immortal being from the dark dimension, and sealing away the mindless ones. And the team is off. But this time they are walking into the Beyond Corporation's biggest trap yet. As in a fake city, they are greeted by the heads of Beyond. Number none, Mr. Pope La Muerta, in the general quiet, and their seemingly endless team of faux heroes that work for Beyond. Like the surgery with its endless doctors, like Dr. Headless and Dr. Injectable, the vestry with members such as Red Rosary, Reverend Guilt, and the Inquisitor, and others such as the Midnight Men, slightly creepy policewoman, and the homosexuality. All of which are easily dispatched by our team, because they are also broccoli robot monsters. But there's one team that isn't, and that's the new Paramounts, consisting of a team that I hope one day we see again, the Bulk, a teen boy who turned into a Hulk-type monster after huffing gamma-irradiated paint, and has never had a girlfriend. Giant Sam, a doctor who feels Hank Pym has ruined the science of growing and shrinking. His power, he grows and shrinks. Charlie America, who got his super soldier formula from Steve Rogers' piss. And Forbrush Man, a longtime Marvel joke, thanks to Stan's soapbox and not Bren Ich. But of course, 3 of the 4 of them are easily beaten, but not Forbrush Man, who takes off the pot he wears on his head to unleash the true horror of our heroes' minds, as his power makes them think they are in the worst actuality they can imagine. I'll get to all the gory details on these realities later. But all of them are taken out, sans Tabitha, who is either too stupid or too pretty to be enchanted by Forbrush, and blows him up soundly. And as number none flees, we are in the end game. The Next Wave group end up at the Beyond secret base, a floating island called State 51. A zombie Dirk Anger tries to kamikaze the team, destroying the Shockwave Rider and Dirk himself. But the team enters State 51 where they fight a plethora of the Beyond's monstrosities that I will talk about later, before finding out number none is actually a baby MODOK. Sad that her parents didn't want her. But this baby MODOK is killed by the real head of Beyond, Devil Dinosaur, who is mad he allowed Moon Boy to ride upon him and wants to destroy all of humanity. Next Wave doesn't care. They kill Devil Dinosaur, and they stick around in State 51. Using it as their new base. Alright, let's talk about the writing, characters, and whatnot. First, let me address something that I've seen as one of the few complaints about this comic. These characters, the ones that previously existed in comic book continuity anyways, acted nothing like they should. There are a number of in-universe suppositions for the reason for this. Beyond Corporation had them on drugs, or altered their memories, or it's in another universe, or whatever. Who cares? You want to know the reason these characters act different? Because no one gives a flying fuck about any of them. I'm a huge Machine Man fan, as I've mentioned. I have not only all of his main series, 2001: Space Odyssey, Machine Man 2020, X-51, etc., but almost all appearances of this character in Marvel. And frankly, I don't care that they change his personality, because he didn't have much of one, at least a consistent one to begin with. Besides Jack Kirby and Jim Krueger, he never really had a writer give him a personality that lasted. I'll get into the details of each of these characters, but like Monica has had more damage done to her character by being in the Avengers and being in shitty Disney movies than anything else. Elsa, no one cares. Tabitha wasn't even a popular X-Force member. You get the point. This was Warren taking characters that were essentially dead weight and giving them something to do, and I'm just fine with that. That being said, I love this comic, obviously. I think comedy comics are hard to do, and I don't really know that I can put my finger on why something about the medium just very often, for me, doesn't translate to humorous. But between the art, which has personality and just enough silliness, and the writing presenting completely told stories in an over-the-top way, it all works to make a reasonably seamless and funny comic experience. It also doesn't hurt that while there is an overarching story to defeat the Beyond Corporation, each of the arcs are only 2 issues long, so it's just enough to give you setup, comedy, execution, without too much fluff. So let's actually talk about these characters. Monica Rambeau, who was Captain Marvel, Photon, among many others. Her other monikers are brought up several times, once when Aaron insists they don't need code names, mostly because they're stupid, and points out why Photon is awful. Oh, I'm a tiny, insignificant particle. Put down your guns or I'll bounce off you undetectably. He also rightly points out Elsa doesn't have a code name, the Captain doesn't recall his real name, and all of Tabitha's code names are stupid. The Captain mentions having gone by Captain Marvel briefly as well, but I'll get to him. But Monica is the leader, unquestionably, and everyone listens to her with only the smallest amount of complaints you might imagine from these characters. Her time with the Avengers as its leader, which she never forgets to mention ad nauseum, has helped her refine her ability to assess a situation and lead competently. She has a huge respect for authority. We see her as the only member of the team with the ability to deal with the police in any capacity that isn't violent, and Dirk calls her personally when he wants to talk to the team. She had an unsupportive mother, which is why she seems to defer to authority figures so readily, but her insecurities never really make her second-guess herself. She has a friendship with Elsa Bloodstone, who she gossips about how horny all the Avengers were, like Doctor Strange. Got any magic in you? Would you like them? And the Ant-Man's gross little feet. And as far as the team goes, her and Aaron are the tactical operations, with everyone else just reacting to her lead, after she runs the idea by his robot brain, of course. Much more relatable and likable here than I've ever read her in anything else. She got stuck in a team that has no respect because she doesn't respect herself, and here she learns to appreciate who she is, and much more. To Machine Man, Aaron Stack, X-51, the absolute star of this comic. Warren made him a mixture of Bender from Futurama with his penchant for the drink and calling humans derogatory names, and of course arrogance, and a Swiss Army knife with all the useful things inside of him. A creation of Jack Kirby for his 2001 A Space Odyssey comic, which was an anthology series loosely around the idea of evolution. Aaron ends up hanging out with the Celestials to learn about the universe, but they reject him because he's total, complete shit. I like the idea that his rejection spurns on his distaste for humanity that we see here. He's the most observant of the team and has the most diverse interactions with the rest of them, flirting with Elsa, beating cops with Tabitha, drinking with the Captain, and working out useful plans with Monica. He also has the best dialogue in the comic, with just two brief ones being, when he is facing some religious beyond created heroes, he says, "Your God will throw up when he sees what I've done to you," which sounds like an insult-fighting quip from Monkey Island. And of course, him flirting with Elsa. He says, "I could make you pregnant." She says, "Not unless you could do it from over there, Clanky." And he says, "I'm full of useful devices." Speaking of Elsa Bloodstone, daughter of Ulysses Bloodstone, famed immortal monster hunter, and she has been presented with at least a portion of the Bloodstone herself, which presumably makes her at least immortal to some degree. But that's not all her father gave her. He gave her crippling daddy issues due to the fact that he essentially tortured her from the time she was in diapers, begging her fight and kill monsters, answer grueling and ceaseless questions, and perform circumcisions. This has left her angry and bitter, but tough as nails and afraid of essentially nothing. She jumps into battle with reckless abandon, probably being the person with the most wins in the entire team. Yet she's also a good ear. She has reasonable conversation with Monica, and even talks kindly with the Captain, most people consider to be rather dim. She's excited when she finds out the Beyond robots are broccoli creatures, meaning she can kill them, and more excited when she finds out the mindless ones explode, loving killing something and it blows up. She's also British and fierce about her culture, even aping the Ultimates line from Captain America, which points to her European Union shirt and asks, "Do you think this stands for America?" She also is the most stylish, I have to say, wearing some riding pants, high-heeled boots, and an interesting top, yet doing the most flips and spins of anyone. She's something else. To Tabitha Smith, Boom Boom, Boomer, Time Bomb, Meltdown, Firecracker. All fucking horrible names, as she readily admits. I'm a big Cable fan, so I read a lot of X-Force, and she was probably the most uninteresting character in X-Force. Here she is presented as a, at the time, kind of modern generation, Paris Hilton type, vapid, superficial, using lots of slang, but, fashionable, Z-list celebrity. But she's immensely powerful, as she shows off many times, and while she isn't the smartest, she's good at working within a team structure. You point her in the right direction, and she blows it up. She, much like Elsa, is fearless, and due to her attitude, she's staggeringly honest with the remainder of the team about how she feels about them. Sadly, she is the least interesting character in this series, which seems to be her specialty. To her and Aaron kicking the crap out of a cop or being a cop is fantastic. To the Captain, the only wholly original character. He's an ugly... he looks shockingly like Shane McGowan. That might be intentional. He's drunken, depressed, lump of a man who got his powers from aliens that he then pummeled. He doesn't know his real name and is described as being so absurdly strong he won't smack someone's spine out through their lungs just by patting them on the back. He's the punching bag of the team, constantly getting bested, but due to his nigh invulnerability, coming out just fine. The team is hard on him for his general stupidity and inability to follow even the most basic of orders, but he's happy to be a part of something. He had an incredibly difficult childhood, and it doesn't seem like he's had a break since then, frankly. Him and Aaron are drinking buddies, and Monica worries about his well-being. He's useful as a level of shield and cannon fodder, though he does get some of his groove back when he's the one to beat Rockanatu, or whatever his name was, into mincemeat. If you ever see the meme involving a child looking for a special bear, a teddy bear, and the mother having hung it from a rope, declaring special bear is dead, that's from the Captain's history. He also went by some of the other following names. Captain, I presume it's fuck, they bleep it out, but that's what it looks like. Captain Universe, Captain Power, Captain Marvel, Captain Ron, Captain Elron, Captain Avalon, and much more. Those being references to other superheroes, movies with Kurt Russell, Scientology, and a good album by Roxy Music, though hardly their best, as that was 1973. For your pleasure, everyone knows that. I also love Dirk Anger and would like to see a Nick Fury, Dirk Anger, Odd Couples style comedy comic. And it's nice to see Devil Dinosaur as the big bad. We get lots of Kirby love in this comic, and to see a devil in a smoking jacket with a glass of white wine was fantastic. To the art. Stewart is a fantastic artist, and here we got this warped American Gothic style. Everything is just slightly off, slightly odd. Everyone seems to be just a little too exaggerated. And that works perfectly for the nature of this comic. It's absurd even in its style. Stewart has a perfect comic book style. And what I mean by that, it has fluidity, it has motion, it has consistency. It isn't photorealistic. I think often people judge comic art by other kinds of art standards. And you can't. Comic art should be judged by, like I said, consistency. Can you make this character look correct 100 times an issue? Can you make us believe when they are fighting, when they're angry, when they are, etc., whatever? And we get that here. There's lots in body language and facial expressions, and each character, despite wearing the same jacket, has their own style. I don't particularly love the outfits on anyone. They aren't terribly inspired, but at least different enough to easily tell whom is whom. But the designs I do enjoy were the Beyond monsters and superhero teams when they are facing Number None. He introduces a number of fake teams and heroes, and they're all fantastically designed, including the team of The Surgery, which all have medical horror-themed costumes, The Vestry, which all have religious-themed costumes with a heavily Catholic slant. We hear some names like Slightly Creepy Policewoman, and The Homosexuality, who I would have loved to have seen, but it's when they get to State 51 where the designs are taken up to another level. We get some old-school villains like the Beasts of Berlin, which are ape communists, some big 60s robots, moguls of the Mystic Mountain, so those Roman chariot Stephen Hawking, which is appropriate for, him being a bad guy now. Elvis Modocs, Modo, I don't know, mechanized organ design only for Elvis, pirate nightcrawlers, naked ninjas, midget BDSM Ironmans, dinosaur cyclopses, ape wolverines, snakes riding planes, albino tiger, cosmonauts, and lots more. Just fun stuff here. And for me, the most impressive part of the art was when Four Brush Man uses his powers to send the whole team, well, in their minds, to the worst place they can imagine. Save Tabitha, of course. But we get this really dynamic art that calls back to other artists and writers, and I'll touch on those now. Monica is placed into a Jim Starlin-esque 70s psychedelic Captain Marvel comic where the villains are abstract concepts. She has to use a living reality to kill a dead one, and we get lots and lots of thought boxes a la Mr. Starling, who just couldn't stop with those. Aaron is squarely back in the later part of his original series by Wolfman and Ditko, where he works as an insurance agent. It was the worst part of that series, and so goddamn boring. And even the panel layout here is made to look like Ditko's art. The Captain is Captain Universe in a reality of superheroes, surrounded by statues of Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. Not really sure who the art was inspired by here, but it was really well done. Lots of heavy use of shadows. And Elsa's is by far the most impressive. Hers is a Mike Mignola Hellboy-inspired reality where she is one of the last people forever fighting monsters. And my God, I thought Mike might have drawn these pages, from the deep-set eyes to the monster designs to the gunshot explosions. It feels and looks like a Mignola comic. So yeah, great art, just perfect for this. If you can't tell, I love Next Wave. This is perfect satire, a damn good comic. It's a shame we won't ever get this series to come back for a plethora of reasons, and I hate that. I wouldn't mind someone else taking a crack at this, though I have little hope for any modern comic writer to have a grasp on this kind of comedy. But yeah, 100 billion% recommendation on Next Wave. Read it, love it. This is what they want. Well, that was week 3 of Warren Ellis month, who is a character underutilized by a comic company that you would like to see get another chance or a rebranding of sorts. Let me know down below. I'd like to see more Next Wave, more Flaming Carrot, more of the Tick, among many others. Please come back next week where we end Warren Ellis month with one of the original Avengers and a defining story arc for him and for the MCU, where we look at Iron Man Extremis. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, add me on Instagram under Demon Peaks for Twin Peaks memes, and don't forget, I am Dito Makaya, the only demon who loves you. Thank you, and goodbye.